Should New World have PvP servers? Well, I think the answer to that is no. Now, I'm making this video on the back of a video from Ginger World Gaming. Brian, absolutely lovely guy. He's actually for PvP servers and I'm against, and I thought it would be interesting to not exactly like look at his point specifically, but to just give a counter opinion. Before we do that though, if you want to support the channel, then becoming a YouTube member really does help and I would very much be very grateful. So for me, there's a couple of key reasons I don't think PvP servers would be a good idea, but there's one really that stands out above the rest. But we'll come to that one in a moment. The reason that I think is sort of prevalent right now is that it would split the community yet again. Fresh servers are coming on the 2nd, which is literally in 2 days time. There's not enough time right now for Amazon to be like, okay, we're going to do a PvP server. So that ship has sailed, it's not going to happen. Therefore, if you do PvP servers in the future, you're going to once again fragment the audience and the population. It may in turn get a new set of players that would play on those PvP servers and maybe that would counter it. Personally, I don't think so, but I think splitting the community again would probably be a bad thing. And let's speak about the population. How popular would PvP servers be? I do think if you made a PvP server right now, it would be absolutely flooded with players. I also believe that it wouldn't possibly be able to sustain itself. Players would get agitated and most likely leave or quit the game. They may be able to just move back to PvE servers, or maybe they wouldn't quit the game. Now, why do I think that in terms of popularity? Traditionally, all of the hardcore PvP games are not very popular games. There's a few outliers. Maybe you can call Eve a PvP game. Maybe Albion Online is another example. But generally, you're not seeing the very top MMOs be those hardcore PvP games. You also see examples of classic World of Warcraft is really the standout argument for this. When you look at that game, there are PvP servers for classic World of Warcraft, and you know what happened? The servers become PvE servers because one faction becomes 99% of the population. There's very little PvP actually going on, because as soon as a server becomes out of balance, if one faction became dominant, like Syndicate probably because they're actually the most popular, if Syndicate became dominant on a server, what would everybody else do? Would you want to stick around on that server? Or maybe would you move around to a server where your faction is dominant? Now you might sit there and be like, Jay, I would stick around, I want to fight. Yes, but really at the expense of your actual fun and gameplay time. You log on, you go to chop a tree and you die. You log on, you try and farm some orichalcum, you're dead. The only content you might end up doing is the instant content anyway. You'll maybe never be able to push wars because you won't be able to get influence, because you'll just die because you'll be outnumbered. Like, as much as players say that they would be happy with that, World of Warcraft Classic shows that people generally aren't. At the first sign of trouble and imbalance, they're off. They go and find it where they're in the majority. What would to stop New World doing the exact same thing? We have 3 factions. So yeah, my arguments there is I don't think PvP MMOs are generally that popular. And secondly, I think the factions would really cause a bit of a problem and you just end up with servers that were one faction dominated. But all of that is not actually the reason why I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea because it would give Amazon Game Studios a very easy cop-out. They could very easily just wash their hands of PvP content and say, well, we gave you PvP servers, that's what you wanted, don't blame us if it's not enjoyable. And I think that would be absolutely catastrophic for the game. What I really want to see is them create actually in-game open world PvP. So maybe that's hotspots, maybe it's reasons to be in specific zones at specific times. Maybe it's even a PvP zone where the rewards are just more abundant. Whatever it is, I think you should do it for everybody, not just the hardcore PvPers. And I would hate Amazon to just be able to get away with not having that kind of stuff in the game because they just went, oh, we just turned on the PvP flag. Are you happy now? Like, I think that would be really unhealthy for the game. And the thing is, even if you just turned on the PvP flag, I think you really would need to have systems that made it more enjoyable. Yes, some people would enjoy the absolute chaos of a free-for-all, but I think more people are excited for games like Ashes of Creation because it has the corruption system. The corruption system basically means if you kill somebody in the open world and they didn't fight back, you're going to be penalized for that. It's to stop people just indiscriminately murdering people. Yes, you can PvP if you want to at the right time, somebody's stealing your resource or something, but no, you're not really supposed to go out and just keep PvPing. It has like an anti-griefing mechanism. If New World didn't have anything like that, then I think the majority of people would probably ultimately get annoyed at that kind of system. Now, Brian's opinion is that you should just do it just to see if people want it. And I think to some extent there is merit in that. You know, it's always worth having data. It's always worth actually seeing if people will put their money where their mouth is, kind of thing. I just think there's enough evidence in enough kind of different games that that's not what people want. Amazon already made the decision to go from like full PvP to what we have now, which is sort of more like a theme park MMO. They've already made the decision not to do it, basically, and I don't see why they would change their mind. I'm presuming Amazon, of all people, have some kind of data, whether or not it's just surveys or what have you. There'll be some reasoning behind what they they did. And I think if you just did like one server just to test it, you end up ultimately doing damage like without actually intending to do damage, because you would see short term everybody sort of flock to that server, and I don't think it would give you a very clear picture for quite a while, which I think the damage would be done by the time you figure it out. There's another reason as well, which I think it would just change the game in a way that I don't think people would necessarily realize and would want. If you're on a PvP server, how many people are going to be cutting down trees? How many people are going to be going out there mining iron? How many people are going to be skinning rawhide? Probably not that much, or probably a lot less, because you basically attract the PvPers who are likely not going to be the same players as the hardcore gatherers and farmers and that kind of stuff. So the environment and the economy would be completely different on those servers, and I think it would be very hard to predict what the outcome would be. Ultimately, don't get me wrong, I would love PvPers to be happy with New World. That's what I want as well. I'm probably more of a PvPer, but what I don't want is a game where I can log on and it's stress all of the time. I don't mind if it's occasional or I got killed once. As long as I know that I'm probably not going to get killed again or again or again, I'm okay with that. A little bit of loss is fine, but to just like log on and just be killed pointlessly over and over, maybe by a group, and you're just one and there's 3 people coming killing you, you're like, oh, okay, what's going on? I'll go to a different area, or there's another 3 people because everybody's running around in zergs. I just don't want that stress at sometimes. I just want to be able to go on and have a bit of fun. Now, in fairness to New World, you could argue that Outpost Rush would be that kind of play, Expeditions would be that kind of play, and I don't disagree with you. I think there's a reason and there's an argument to say that New World probably could have PvP servers and still be okay. But personally, I don't really like the idea that Amazon get away with it that easily. I want better world PvP for everybody. But I do hope the PvPers enjoy the game. I want more content for you. So that's my reasons why I don't think it would necessarily work. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Go and check out Brian's video. It's truly great. He's a great guy, so go and check him out. And it's Halloween, so I'm slightly in like a very bad Star Trek outfit today, and I did my hair especially to look a bit nerdy. I'm definitely a Trekkie, by the way, if anybody's wondering. It's way better than Star Wars. I said it. Get over it. If you enjoy my content and you really want to support me, then do consider becoming a YouTube member. It really, really does help. What you should definitely do is have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.